Thank you very much, Lorraine, for joining me today as one of our champion centres. If you could just start off by just giving us a bit of an overview of your Lorraine Baker drums and your role within the business.
Sure. Well, my business mainly involves teaching and preparing students for exams and giving them experience to move on into the musical world, basically. So I'm based here for about 70% of my time. So RSL have been great. It's our favourite exam board to use. We just find it's just really supportive, and yeah, we're happy to be involved with it.
Yeah, excellent. And maybe a bit of an overview about your own route to music education and teaching as a drum.
Yeah, so I started off playing the flute. It's the only thing on offer in my primary school. So I also got into a bit of tap dancing, and that kind of moved me on to bashing a sweet tin in sort of secondary school. And then there was a drum kit teacher there. So I went straight into the grades. It was another exam board at that time because Rock School weren't so prominent. But yeah, I just started off with going through the grades, really, straight into all the different styles and things.
And I guess as a drummer, there's so many different styles of drumming and music. Is there any sort of particular style that really got you inspired to start playing drums at all?
Yes, well, we had sort of like a jazz band at school, and it turned out that I really liked swing music and things like that. I was very lucky because my drum teacher led a amateur swing band, and he got me into that as soon as possible, and that led me on to study jazz at a conservatoire as well.
Excellent. And within the RSL graded exams, what do you think the kind of value is for having that graded structure when teaching, having those sort of exam days with RSL?
I think personally the graded structure is really important, especially for students who there's so much to learn within drums and music. Sometimes it's just too much to take on, and what I found the grades do, especially RSL, is they concentrate it down to certain things and aims that you can do. So it's kind of bite-sized bits. And also it leads on to other things. You can do this groove, so now you can do that. And I just find as well, my own experience when I was at a conservatoire, the jazz teaching, although it was first class, it's very conceptual and open, and I personally struggled with that myself a little bit. So I knew that when I came back to teach that I wanted to get into a good graded system, as well as teaching non-graded stuff as well.
I think, yeah, it's a great benchmark for them to continue helping with student retention as well as they achieve each grade. And also regarding practice as well, are there any kind of tips that you find within encouraging students to practice for their exams, or I guess other pieces leading up to it?
Yeah, I would say again, I try to write notes for my students. So after every lesson, especially for the higher grades where there's a lot going on, they have specific things that I would ask them to fix for maybe the next week or next lesson. So again, it's just bringing the volume down and just giving them achievable things to do or fix or try, and then feedback to me next week, even if they haven't managed to get that particular thing yet. So yeah, notebooks, or sometimes they write it on their phone. It's always useful, just giving them like small little aims, and maybe just quizzing them as well. How was your week? And did you get to do it this week? And just seeing what they've got going on in their lives at that time as well, because they can be very busy.
Yeah, I guess also kind of inspiring them to also listen to different types of music as well, whether it be through Spotify or YouTube, to sort of see depth and breadth of listening as well, which I think is important. And I guess also, how do you and your students access the RSL materials? Obviously we have the hard copy books, the learning platform, the digital resources.
So at the moment, most of my students are just really excited for their next book to arrive through the post. So, and also that they can just write all their notes on it and highlight and things, whatever they need to do, so they really personalise it. So with drums as well, because you're having it on the music stand and you're having to make the adjustments and write in fills and things, the hard copy books work the best for us right now. I have said to a lot of my students now, obviously it is digital as well, so they can access that. So that's sort of an area we're moving into a little bit more.
Brilliant, excellent. And I guess, so today you actually have a private exam visit in motion at the moment. And how do you like the way those are organised? Obviously it's quite an on-demand at any point of the year. booking that you can do with your students?
Well, for us, the private exam days here has actually completely changed my business for the better, because I have now the sort of control of organising the students, also combining with the other teachers. So the vocal teacher here has many students on today, which it helps me to allow you to come down to do it here. Obviously, I wouldn't have enough on my own.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd have a whole day, it just depends.
Yeah.
So it just means that I have a lot more freedom and control over when I want to do the exams. I can also tell the students when their exam will be almost straight away, and it's just way more comfortable for them as well.
Excellent. And then I guess leading up to the exam day, do you any kind of mock exams with them, or build up to the exam practice that you maybe embedding your lessons, building up to it?
Yes, we do, because I think visualization as well. I mean, all of the students have used their particular exam room that they're in for at least one lesson before their exam, just to kind of make it a bit more visual, and also the acoustic as well. It's important for them to get used to it. Now, that's a luxury that I didn't have when I was young. You know, I was just put into any exam room, and it was different. But I feel that the grades are kind of harder now as well, and it just gives them that extra little bit of confidence and comfort to do that.
Excellent. And then with the RSL head office, obviously you have your exams officer that you liaise with when scheduling. And then how do you kind of communicate that to your parents? Is that via sort of mail out, or you obviously choose the date in the diary which works best for the venue?
Yeah, so I would generally try and choose the date myself, and it has to obviously go in line with the school when there aren't any pupils in. So that we can use the rooms that we need. But generally that's quite easy to do, as the school kind of stays open anyway for admin purposes. So Rock School is so helpful. They would just send me the candidate list and the times, and once I secure the dates, and then they will also include the individual PDFs that is just so easy to send out to each student individually. And that's it's just easy.
Excellent. And like today, how do you set up your exam rooms, and you've obviously got a reception area as well? I guess how do you like the sort of flow of the day to go from kind of student-parent arrival and then into the exam?
Yes, quite smooth. So we're lucky here to have lots of rooms that we can use. So generally I would come in a couple of days before and set up the room with the drum kits and the mics and things like that. I would just do that in my own time because it's just easier. It doesn't take long. And then the parents will all arrive upstairs, which is quite far away from the exam room, so which we feel is just better to space everything out. And they will leave their students up there. The student will then be led down to the warm-up room, and again, which is away from the main studio where the exams are. And then either me or my colleague will just take them in to the exam, and the other person will come out, and it's just a system like that. So they won't sort of really see the other candidate or anything like that.
Yeah, excellent. And what do you ask them to bring with them on the day of their exam as well? So
on the day, depending on what grade they're doing, obviously for the high grades they'll need photo ID and their book, any photocopies for page turns, things like that. For drummers, 2 pairs of sticks, just in case one of them goes missing or something. And just any notes or anything that they need, maybe a phone with some headphones for the metronome to use in the warm-up room, or any backing tracks they want, or headphones just for the warm-up. Yeah, excellent.
And I guess you may have some students that may be a bit nervous leading up to their exam. Are there any sort of tips that you ask them to do leading up to sort of help with those nerves, or any areas of improvement?
I think just expressing that they are nervous is a good first start for that, because it's a completely natural thing to feel, and it's a big day. It's hard stuff that they're playing, so we would just have a quick sort of chat about that, really. And I would also say I was very nervous for all of my exams. I can remember doing all of them, and it's just to have that kind of rapport with the student that, you know, it's just because they care about the exam going well that they are nervous. So it's just kind of a bit of chat about that, really. And also putting them in the mock exam situation, and, you know, I would say maybe play it to your parents or play it to your friend. You've got that one person watching you as well, just to give you that extra bit of pressure.
I think also as they progress from, say, grade 1 to grade 8, they should obviously get used to the exam format in the day as well, which should be helpful. And also around, obviously, RSL, we offer the digital exam option, so either recorded, digital and live stream. I don't know if you've taken one of those with your students previously at all.
Yeah, I've had, since lockdown, I've had a lot of students. I've probably say probably about 50 students, maybe even more. I've got a massive list on my computer who's done them. And I must say, a lot of my students do really almost prefer that option. So depending on the time of year as well, if they're ready for this, the face-to-face ones, obviously that I would encourage that more, because it's important to have that sort of, exposure. Yeah. But, I've seen with the marking with the Rock School digital exams, it's really fair, and, they're still getting exactly the same grading at the end of the day and feedback. Yeah. So yeah, that's been really good as well.
Yeah, excellent. And also with, I guess, playing in bands and that kind of thing, have you had any students that have gone on to form a band, or how do you encourage them to maybe work or play with other musicians?
So it's always great when they come into their lesson and they announce that they have formed a band with their friends, or they've got a gig. Would I be able to come and see?
Yeah.
And that's one of the best things you can hear as a teacher, because really at that point you can step back a bit and be like, okay, now you can go and enjoy music with all the skills you've learned. It's just seeing that confidence. Yeah, I've had quite a few people in that position, which is very fortunate.
Excellent, yeah. And out of interest as well, are there any other qualifications that may be of interest that you've found? Obviously, you're doing the drum syllabus at the moment. I know we offer things like music production or podcasting and blogging. If there's any other qualifications that maybe some of your students have done as well alongside drums?
So, they haven't done, in my teaching at the moment, they haven't done in any of the other qualifications, but I can see that the list is like building all the time through the updates I get from RSL. So yeah, and as well with the music theory and production and things like that, I think in the more modern world with the musical courses, that higher education, it's really, really relevant now, and maybe much more relevant than the older style maybe, depending on whether you're going into classical or contemporary music. So for contemporary music, it really is something that we would look into for sure.
Excellent. And then finally, what's next for your business, and obviously expanding across the year?
Yeah, so again, just continuing tuition, and I'm sure that there'll be many more younger people coming into this school in particular, learning drums, and again starting from premiere or debut, and coming up through, and it's just keeping it going really. Also, just we want to keep the centre running here for the exams, because we've all just found it works so well. Obviously, I'd be looking to offer it to other teachers, not just the vocal teacher. And here, studying RSL, if we can get you guys to come down, then it just makes our life much, much easier as well.
Excellent. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for today, and we'll see you again soon.